are.
Like compared to, all our competitors, we're just destroying them.
The hydration beverages that are on the market right now are like either A, not good for you, B, taste like shit.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is asking the FDA to investigate that wildly popular Prime energy drink and whether it's being marketed to children.
The first collapse didn't end Logan Paul. It rewired him. After years of high-octane Vine clips and loud, stunt-driven vlogs, he ran headfirst into the 2018 Forest scandal and hit the kind of wall most creators don't walk away from. The internet turned, sponsors stepped back, and his name became a warning label. He posted an apology, then another. The tone shifted. Fewer smirks, more, "I hear you." Whether you bought it or not, the goal was obvious: rebuild trust and prove he could be more than a shock reel. He didn't try to out-apologize the outrage cycle. He outworked it. He launched a long-form podcast where he could speak in sentences instead of jump cuts. He leaned into discipline and training, swapping prank thumbnails for boxing gloves. The KSI rivalry gave him a new stage. Still flashy, still controversial, but suddenly built on early morning runs and late-night sparring instead of chaos for clicks. Even critics had to admit the pivot was smart. If the old character was too loud to be forgiven, build a new character who earns it. By 2020, the rhythm felt different. The vlogs smoothed out. The podcast grew teeth. The talking points matured. Ownership, brand strategy, longevity. He positioned himself as a student of the game, still hungry, but supposedly wiser. The fights got bigger, the guest list got better, and the narrative sharpened. Reckless kid learns consequences, comes back focused, and turns raw attention into a real business lane. That story plays well. It's tidy. It's marketable. Then 2021 arrived, and with it, the highest profile ring walk of his life. Whatever you thought of the matchup, it stamped a new label across the old name. Not just YouTuber, but entertainer who can headline. That's the optics he wanted. And they worked. Brands, networks, arenas, doors reopened. The message to fans was simple and addictive. Growth, not guilt. Lessons learned, momentum reclaimed, next chapter loading. But redemption arcs don't run on vibes, they run on choices. And the next big choice was a project that promised community, creativity, and passive rewards. It would test whether this reloaded persona was truly different or just better at packaging the same old risk. Because the thing that came next didn't ask for forgiveness. It asked for money. It started simple. Eggs, creatures, rewards. A gamified promise wrapped in bright art and bigger words. Community, passive income, life-changing upside. The pitch felt tailor-made for a rebrand era. Less chaos, more builder. Fans didn't just buy digital eggs. They bought the idea that Logan's second act was about creating value, not just capturing attention. Then, the seams showed. Glitches piled up. Eggs didn't hatch for some buyers. Dashboards stalled. Rewards felt vague or missing. And the token chart looked like a ski slope. Discords filled with screenshots and anxiety. Smaller holders said they'd put in savings. A few big whales claimed eye-watering losses. In a space where trust is already fragile, silence hits harder than a bad candle. And for long stretches, that's what people felt. Silence, deflection, confusion about who was actually steering the project. Investigators online stepped in. Long threads mapped wallets, contracts, and timelines. A high-profile doc-series amplified everything, from stock photo creature art to questions about roles, payments, and pre-launch token moves. Logan fired back, then cooled off, then floated a make-good plan. Refunds for certain holders, talk of reviving the original vision, talk of doing right by the community. Some appreciated the tone shift. Others read the fine print and said the net was still too small. Too many people left out. Too many conditions. too many maybes. That's the thing about a comeback brand. It rests on receipts, not rhetoric. As complaints turned into filings, the narrative moved from YouTube to courthouses. Allegations, counterclaims, motions, and updates. Each new docket entry kept the story alive. And while the legal clock ticked, the culture clock did too. Fans who'd accepted the "I've changed" arc started asking a colder question. Changed how? If leadership is accountability when it's expensive, this was the bill coming due. None of this erases the volatility baked into crypto projects or the chaos of building anything on a moving blockchain. But that nuance only matters when the basics are handled. Clear comms, clean timelines, and a leader who stands in the storm. In this chapter, the storm felt bigger than the umbrella. And just when the legal fog thickened, real-world cameras showed up looking for answers, only to catch something that made the internet do a double take. When the cameras finally came calling, the trust test moved offline. A national broadcaster lined up questions about timelines, wallets, and who made which decisions. Instead of a sit-down, viewers got something stranger, a lookalike stunt that turned hard questions into a punchline. Fans called it classic trolling. Critics called it classic evasion. Either way, the bit did what bits do. It went viral, and the substance slid to the background. That's the risk with image rehab. It runs on posture. If you've sold "I've grown," then every frame has to look like growth. You can spar online all day, but when the mic is in your face and the lights are neutral, the simplest act, show up, answer, own, says more than a 7-minute upload ever could. Skipping that moment didn't just dodge answers, it fed the old narrative. When pressure rises, the persona returns. Clips of the stunt ricocheted through feeds. The jokes wrote themselves. What didn't travel as fast were the documents, the filings, the patient parts of the story that never trend. And yet those are the pieces that decide reputations in the long run. Because beyond the meme, the question remained. If this arc is about accountability, where is it? Silence can be a strategy. But in a storm, it looks like drift. None of this proves guilt or innocence. It proves something subtler. Tone. Audiences can forgive a past mistake. They struggle to forgive the feeling that their time and faith are props. When the goal is to rebuild, optics aren't extra. They're evidence. Laughing off scrutiny plays great in a clip. It plays terribly in a courtroom, and worse in the memory of people who once believed you. And while that fire burned online, another one was catching in grocery aisles and school cafeterias. The drink that helped power the comeback was about to face questions of its own, about marketing, labels, and who exactly it was built for. Because the next chapter isn't about a video, it's about a product with millions of bottles in the wild. The drink wasn't just a drink, it was a storyline. 2 mega creators, 1 rainbow of bottles, and a promise. Better for you hydration with must-collect flavors. Clips, collabs, walkouts, arenas. The rollout felt less like a CPG launch and more like a tour. Kids lined up. Resellers flipped cases like sneakers. Shelves emptied, then restocked to cheers. The comeback finally had something you could hold. Then the questions hit. Not about memes, about labels. Viewers who'd grown up on the creators were now parents and teachers asking why the energy can look almost like the hydration bottle. Health voices raised eyebrows at caffeine levels in the energy line. Schools started saying, "Not here." Overseas regulators took a closer look at compliance and marketing. None of that made the product illegal. It made the optics messy. When your brand leans on hype, mixed messaging isn't a typo, it's Tinder. Online, anecdotes stacked up. Some loved the taste and claimed it got them through workouts. Others complained about jitters, headaches, or wide-awake nights after the energy cans. The company pointed to warnings and age guidance. Critics argued the branding eclipsed the fine print. And with every debate clip, the bigger theme sharpened. This wasn't just about flavor. It was about responsibility when your audience skews young and your megaphone is global. The creators doubled down on showmanship, arenas, mascots, chest-out comparisons to legacy competitors. That works, until it doesn't. Because flashy jabs don't counter quiet math. Returns, recalls, reformulations, and retailer rules are boring words that decide whether a product lives on the shelf. Fans can defend you in comments. Buyers decide at the register. None of this declares the drink bad or the critics right. It says the honeymoon ended fast. In year 1, you sell excitement. In year 2, you sell trust. If the packaging confuses, if the claims blur, if the press cycle turns from sold out to called out, the second sale gets harder. And when the growth story slows, lawyers and accountants start speaking louder than influencers, which is where this arc heads next. Because behind the color and slogans sat contracts, production targets, and rivals with attorneys. The internet called it drama. The documents called it exposure. And the next chapter is where the hype machine meets the balance sheet. Momentum sells the first 1,000,000 bottles. Operations sell the next 10. After the launch glow, reality started talking in spreadsheets. Forecasts missed, inventory piled in the wrong places, and the once frenzied secondary market went quiet. The story shifted from sold out to marked down. That's not scandal, it's business. But business has consequences when your brand is built on undefeated optics. Inside that cooling demand came a bigger headache. The people who make and move your product don't live on viral clips, they live on contracts. Production partners expect volume, timing, and payments to match the glossy decks. When they don't, emails turn into letters, and letters turn into lawsuits. Suddenly, the brand famous for surprise drops was fielding allegations about missed obligations and money owed. Fans argued vibes, lawyers argued clauses. This is where many creator-led products stumble. Marketing assumes growth is a straight line. Supply chains know it wiggles. You can spin a slow week on social, but you can't spin a factory line idle for lack of orders, or a warehouse full of flavors the algorithm doesn't love anymore. Retailers adjust facings. Distributors get cautious. The oxygen thins. None of that makes the drink doomed. It makes the margin for error thin. Because the second you move from lightning in a bottle to line item on a P&L, every promise cashes out. Compliance, consistency, cash flow. Miss one, you can recover. Miss several, and partners start lawyering up. The public only sees headlines. The real damage is quieter. Strained relationships, tougher terms, doors that used to fly open now creaking. And optics still matter. If your brand voice is swagger, court filings and clearance stickers read like subtitles you don't want. The audience that once defended every hiccup begins asking different questions. Is the product genuinely better? Or was the story just louder? If you answer with stunts, the market shrugs. If you answer with quality and execution, it listens. Meanwhile, while supply chain smoke was in the air, a new flash appeared on the horizon. One involving another global icon, a lookalike bottle silhouette, and a courtroom deciding where inspiration ends and imitation begins. Because next came a fight with a name even bigger than YouTube, Messi. In beverages, your bottle is your billboard. Change the silhouette, the label rhythm, the shelf presence, and you change the story. Prime argued another newcomer crossed that line. Headlines framed it like a superhero crossover. YouTube Titan versus the drink, linked to the world's most famous number 10. Lawyers called it trade dress. Fans called it drama. The claim was simple on paper. Shoppers could confuse the two. The pushback was simpler. Show us the confusion. Industry chatter referenced consumer surveys saying most people could tell them apart. Court filings volleyed over percentages, fonts, and the choreography of colors. Prime said it was protecting its look. The other side said it was being muscled for existing. Both sides wanted the narrative prize. We're the original. They're the echo. Optics weren't kind to swagger. When your brand voice is chest out, a lawsuit can read like a flex, especially if your audience grew up allergic to corporate bullying. Suddenly, the underdog cape flips. The creators who once marketed themselves as rebels against legacy giants looked to some like the giant. Social feeds spun it into memes, mock-ups, and armchair legal takes. Meanwhile, the real battle moved to exhibits, cap shapes, label grids, gradients, and the precise distance between word marks. Here's the unglamorous truth. Even if you win, you can lose. Legal fees drain oxygen. Discovery drags your decks and emails into daylight. Retail partners hate uncertainty, and while the court decides who wore which outfit first, customers make a quieter ruling by not caring. If the drink doesn't earn repeat buys, the prettiest bottle becomes an expensive souvenir of a hype cycle. None of this absolves copycats or condemns brand defense. It just reminds you that audience goodwill is a finite resource. Spend it on litigation theater, and you'd better deliver a knockout. Otherwise, it looks like a distraction from a harder conversation. Ingredients, safety chatter, and what's actually inside the bottle your kid just grabbed. Because while lawyers argued about curves and caps, a different word started creeping into headlines. One that doesn't trend for aesthetics, but for anxiety. Forever chemicals. And that accusation lands very differently at the kitchen table. Hype can outrun almost anything, except a safety whisper. One word began creeping into headlines and group chats. Forever. Not as a slogan, but as a worry. Class action filings claimed certain hydration products tied to the brand contained so-called forever chemicals. Lawyers argued trace detections. Consumers heard something simpler. Is this safe? The science talk gets dense fast, but the emotion lands in one line. Parents don't want to Google acronyms before handing a drink to their kid. The company pushed back and lawyered up. Motions to dismiss. Technical arguments about testing methods, thresholds, and what detectable even means. Online, nuance vanished. Screenshots beat stipulations. A brand built on color and charisma suddenly had to speak in micrograms and manufacturing specs. That's a brutal arena for creators used to winning on vibes. Then came the pantry problem. Once safety hangs in the air, every adjacent headline sticks. Social feeds recycled clips about mold claims tied to a partner snack line that cross-promoted the drink. Different product, different process, but audiences compress stories. In memory, it all blends into a single worry: quality control. That's how trust slides. Not in one blow, but in a pile of small doubts that feel big at home. Here's the quiet truth. Most customers don't read legal briefs or lab methods. They run a gut check. Is the label clear? Are warnings obvious? Do the creators look like they take this seriously? If the answers wobble, the second purchase disappears. Retail end caps can be loud, the shopping cart is louder. And this is where comeback narratives face their real exam. You can spin a crypto drama as complex. You can spin a lawsuit as competitors hating. You cannot spin uncertainty about what's inside a bottle. The only winning move is over-communication. Tighter QA, unmissable labels, independent testing, plain English updates. Anything less looks like deflection. By now, the pattern is hard to ignore. When the stakes rise, the response tilts toward performance. Clips, quips, chest-out energy, while the audience keeps asking for something dull and decisive. Receipts, fixes, follow-through. Which sets up the last question, the one no mascot can distract from. If attention built the empire, what actually sustains it when the spotlight cools? All along, the pitch was that attention could be alchemized into value, views into ventures, virality into victory laps. And for a while, it worked. But attention is a spark, not a power plant. It lights the room. It doesn't keep it warm. What keeps it warm is boring. Receipts, refunds that arrive, labels you don't have to squint at. Leaders who show up when the questions get expensive. That's the trust math. Not vibes, not slogans, patterns. When things go right, does someone take the credit alone? When things go wrong, does that same person take the weight? Do timelines get clearer under pressure or blurrier? Is the apology a bridge to fixes or a pause button until the noise dies down? Audiences don't track this in spreadsheets. They feel it in their bones. 1,000 micro moments add up to one answer. Safe to believe, or not yet. Creator empires are fragile because they're personal. The founder isn't just on the billboard. They are the billboard. Every shrug, every dodge, every smirk on a day that needed seriousness becomes part of the product. You can outsource manufacturing. You can't outsource accountability. If the brand story is growth, then growth has to show up where it's hardest. Deadlines, courtrooms, QC checks, and public forums that don't edit the tough parts out. None of this demands perfection. It demands proportion. If the launch party is a 10, the fix-it phase can't be a 2. If the marketing is everywhere, the maintenance can't be nowhere. Fans can forgive failure. They struggle to forgive feeling like props. Because parasocial loyalty is still loyalty, and loyalty has a quiet rule. Don't make me defend what you won't defend yourself. So, where does this leave the arc? Somewhere honest. Maybe there is another pivot. Maybe there's a sober reset with fewer fireworks and more follow-through. Maybe the next headline is dull in the best way. Settlement reached, buybacks completed, labels clarified, third-party tests published. That kind of boring can save a brand. It can even save a legacy. And if it doesn't, then the lesson outlives the saga. For viewers, slow down at the promise stage, speed up at the proof stage. Ask simple questions that cut through gloss. What happens if it breaks? Who fixes it? Where's the plan? Where are the numbers? For creators, the market will always reward a great opening night. The culture only rewards what holds up on Monday morning. Redemption isn't a montage, it's a maintenance schedule. Fame isn't proof, it's pressure. And trust, once bent, returns in increments, not thunderclaps. If this story finds its way back to the light, it'll be because the answers finally got louder than the ads. If it doesn't, the verdict won't be shouted. It'll be whispered where it matters most. At the cart, at the checkout, in the choice not to reach for the bottle, the token, or the pitch. Because in the end, the spotlight doesn't crown you. It calibrates you. It shows the work, or the lack of it. And that truth